All right. We are live. This time is going to be a little bit different, Lewis, than our typical live situation on Twitch. You know why?
Oh yeah, why is that?
Because even though you probably haven't even thought about that yet, I would like us to record this as we normally record the podcast, meaning pull up Audacity, do our one,
Oh
two,
my
three,
god.
four, five, six countdown.
Oh my god. We're really doing this shit.
Don't you think
Why
we should
didn't
do
you...
that?
Well,
Don't you think we should do that?
I honestly thought we were gonna take the VOD and we were gonna just edit the audio straight from the VOD and just put that out there.
I guess we could. I guess you could if you were down for that. But then that will also mean that we're probably going to get a worse audio quality
Yeah,
than our
you
typical content.
on my end you just
So,
sounded a little distorted just for a quick like millisecond. You were like you did that robotic voice.
mm-hmm.
Oh god damn, we're gonna do this? Are we? I got shit. You should have told me this before we
But
went
I
live.
didn't say anything. No, because you would have wanted to prepare, and I did kind of like the idea of like going through the motions live, and then having people actually see what it's like when we record the podcast. Not like anybody cares, but if anybody did care, I kind of like the idea that that they can see that.
Hmm.
Um, all right, let me pull up our stuff here. I'm also in the process, by
Oh,
the way, of writing.
yo,
What?
what's it called? Fame says, "What's up, guys? Oh my God, no glasses, Lewis. So weird to see. LOL, bitch. You've seen me with no glasses on before. What's it called? I was granted I was smaller and like a little corner of the screen and all, but yeah, I've had LASIK done in March. I tweeted about it way back then. Not that anyone cared because I only got like 100 followers, but whatever. Ghost Babies of course says hello. Yeah, so
Hey, thanks for showing up again, dude.
sorry, Juan, for not streaming last week. My bad. I was really busy. I had a vacation. I had a vacation from my vacation when I got back.
You potentially ruin his Tuesday. Can you imagine? Like he was like ready to watch
Yeah, he
us
was.
live,
Yeah, he had
and
like the notification ready to hit and never hit. Wow, that's crazy. We have 5 viewers already. That's crazy. We just went live. So
ooh,
yeah.
that's nice. So, if you just showed up in here because you saw something on talk shows and podcasts, and you're not necessarily interested in knowing about the ending of the game A Way Out, you might want to step out because we're going to be spoiling the game. Some of the viewers that are with us that have been following us for the past few weeks have been part of it and have actually, watched us play it, so they would know how it ends. But although the way that we typically do this is that we don't spoil it at first, and then we say spoiler zone from now on. But still, warning given. Um, Now, Lewis, we were just talking about whether we should record this podcast like we record the normal podcast, so that we can like do our typical editing process, drop it on the podcast feeds and etc., and have a good quality audio. So do you wanna pull up Audacity and do that?
Yeah, we got to do our audio sync and everything. I guess I'll pull up Audacity. All
All right.
right, this is gonna be weird doing this live and everything.
I totally caught you off guard with that
Yeah,
one,
you
right?
did, man. All right. Did you ready to start recording?
Yeah, I'm ready to start recording.
All right. I just started recording Audacity. Let's do our time sync. Countdown: one,
2,
three,
4,
5.
6.
Discord has actually got a faster delay, or like a less of a delay than our Zencaster. So
Oh wow, really?
you were hitting the numbers faster than this time around. So
I'm kind of surprised about that, but I guess that's good. So here's where our intro would normally go, but I doubt Lewis planned that and has the intro ready to go on his phone or
oh
anything.
hell no, I don't have my sound effects ready to go. God damn. I mean,
It's all good.
even if
It's
I
all good.
did, and even if I did, it would sound very low because I don't have an adapter, the correct adapter anymore, or at least the one that I have just sometimes works when it feels like working. So yeah.
Hmm. So now that we're both recording and we have what we can use to sync and everything, I guess we can get this started. Let's assume that our intro just played, and I'm gonna intro the podcast. What's up, players? Welcome to another Spoilercast special episode of Ready Press Play. Our show is typically your weekly source for everything that's new and exciting in the world of video games, posting every Friday on your favorite podcast service. But occasionally, we do special episodes called DLCs, where we either focus on one major topic or discuss our thoughts in one game. This is one of those where we'll be diving deep into A Way Out. The way those typically go is that we're going to talk about the game spoiler free for the first 10 to 15 minutes of it, talk about our general opinions and review of the game, and then we're gonna go full spoilers, and everything is ready to be revealed. So you probably want to step out if you haven't played and finished the game yet. But nonetheless, let's get started. No matter where you found us, please make sure to subscribe to the feed so you can get every new show directly to your device as soon as it posts. And if you like it, please leave us a nice review. I'm your host, Daniel Lima, and I'm joined as always by my co-host, Mr. Lewis Minchaka.
You know, Dan, this is weird.
I know. This is definitely something pretty new for us. So this is the first time that we're doing this podcast live on twitch.tv/readypressplay. So if you're listening to this on your typical podcast services like you normally do, you might notice some weird stuff. We might do some interacting with the chat. This might feel a little bit different. It was kind of a trial run for us. I mean, if it goes well, then we're going to start doing our regular podcast this way as well. But we'll see. Not promising anything yet.
Also, Fame says, "Well, I still want to play this game, so I'm out." Just wanted to stop by and show some support to you guys. So yeah, that's fair
Well,
enough.
thank you so much for showing up, Fame, and good luck with everything that you're working on with Level 1 Gaming and everything.
Absolutely.
If you guys happen to see Leah at all in the stream, she is hiding in the background. It's like you can do a little bit of a Where's Waldo game type thing if you want while watching the stream. If you're listening to this audio only later, then that doesn't make any sense. So don't worry about that. And that's it. So A Way Out is a game that came out in 2018, developed by Hazelight Studios, published by EA, directed by Joseph Fares, the same director of the game Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, which is one of my personal favorites. We've talked a little bit about.
Oh no. Damn, I lost him. And Dan has a bit of a derp face going on right now. Which he's probably still talking. I don't even know if I'm connected on his end. Damn you, Dan. Damn you. Am I gonna have to hang up the call? Let me just hang up the call. All right. Yeah, let's hang up the call. There we go. All right. Let's try this again. Call him back. There we go. Man. I thought it was entirely frozen. It startled me when he started talking. This is such a garbage truck on fire. All right. Here we go. I didn't even. It didn't even come through. I tried calling him, and he's not even. Okay, he's like, huh, I thought it was entirely frozen. It startled me when you started talking. And Dan is, of course, just has the ellipses in the chat there. All right, let's try calling him one more time. Let's try a voiceover call. There we go. Let's just get his voice on here. This is what happens. Let's see here. Oh no. Did Dan's internet looks like straight up fail? Oh, wait. I got him. Hey, there we go.
Hello.
Your internet failed, didn't you? Hold on.
I picked this up on my phone because my computers. I also need to actually sync. Give me a second. I actually need to sync my headphones with the phone, Bluetooth, so that I can actually hear you and everything.
There we go. All right. So I got you synced up. At least you're centered on the frame. You got a little bit of black on both of your ends right here, like a vertical thing. So that's fine. Interesting. Did your internet fail, or was it your computer?
It's so weird because I keep having these weird internet issues that I don't know how to explain, where it will partially work. So like right now, I am actually watching or stream on the internet on my computer, and it's fine. But Discord doesn't work anymore, and like nothing else works anymore. So I don't know what's going on. I've been we keep getting busy and not being able to do what we need to do, which is deal with this. But I have not been able to get you coming out of the right headphones yet, so I'm trying to figure that out first.
And of course, your mic mic is no longer that bougie mic anymore. So, and now I sound better.
Yeah, in comparison. So I actually think this might be do you think this might be an acceptable solution, or should I just try to get back into what we were doing before?
Well, now you just sound like you're underwater now for some reason.
It might have had to do with how I was holding the phone. Give me a sec. All right. Oh, this is fun.
There we go. Now you got the full screen effect going on. That's better.
All right. So I guess we can do that. That's on my phone, but still got some good lighting here. All right. I'll say let's just do this, and I'm recording the audio with a good mic on Audacity, so I can fix this through editing later, and it'll probably be fine.
I'm glad that you got the I'm glad that you got the Audacity thing going on before we started rolling. But I don't know how if you're gonna when you edit this, you're gonna hear my reaction to you freezing and stuff like that. I was
Which
laughing.
one was it?
I was laughing like uncontrollably, like a maniac. I'm like, yes.
I don't even remember what I was in the middle of. Like, I feel like I was done with the intro basically when it went down.
I think
right?
so.
Like,
I think so.
Okay.
So Ghost Baby asks, is this the same mic? No, he is talking through his cell phone's mic actually, but
Yeah.
he is recording with his quality mic to his computer. So whenever the MP3 comes out, it'll sound dope.
Yeah, exactly. So, does it sound really bad though, or is it like serviceable for now?
Oh, it sounds like you're underwater, is the best way I can explain it. I don't know if you might want to if you're able to pull it up on your end. I can actually turn up. I forgot. I can actually turn up your volume on my on the stream. Juan, is his volume low? Do I need to raise it? Let's see if Juan says something. He said cool before I asked the question, so I think he's okay with your mic now. But I can still turn up your your mic here on the stream just in case.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll maybe turn it up a little bit and then see if anybody complains that it's too loud. Then you can turn it down.
Yeah.
But you can hear me fine, it seems. So.
Yeah, his apparently Juan says the sound level is okay, so we can pick up, I guess. So,
all right, let's just go ahead with it. So we're here today to talk about A Way Out, the title from 2018 by Haze Light Studios, published by Electronic Arts as part of their EA Originals label, and directed by Joseph Fares, the same director of the game Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, which is very special to me, and that we've talked a little bit about before, that we still have to do a spoiler cast off, but for that at this point I need to replay it, because I don't really remember it pretty much at all. I do remember some of the beats, but we're not talking about that anyway. We're talking about A Way Out here today. We played this on stream over a couple weeks. We had some people like Ghost Baby Juan, as well as Ryan and Leah and a few of our other fans, and listeners follow through and watch us play through it. It was a really good time, and we're here today to talk about Way Out. So first, spoiler-free, Lewis, what were your overall thoughts of this game?
The game was very unique in the sense that how many games are out there where you play a game cooperatively? Like it is a requirement. You can't play the game solo, and I think the game is really, really well paced in the sense that everything is timed perfectly. Like there are some sequences where I don't know what kind of magic they had to make it so where things like happen at the same time together and they coalesce perfectly. And like the game is like playing a movie. You have action sequences where there's like one take and the camera is just following and stuff. I think that's a really cool ass thing, and I am very impressed, and I want more. And I kind of was thinking about from a recommendation standpoint, like what games can we play that are like this, and there aren't many that I can think of. So that's that's kind of where I stand. I wish there were more games out there like that we can do, not just for like streaming purposes, like us playing together, but just in general. Like I think that's such a cool novel concept. So hopefully, Dan, you heard everything I said because you're kind of like buffering, but I'm hoping that you heard everything. I hope I don't have to repeat myself. Please.
No, not at all. I mean, worst case scenario, I can just wing it anyway, and then I can listen to it later, as we've actually done in some of our shows in the past. And I don't know if people could really tell the difference. No,
Yeah.
I think this game was really fun. I thought it was based on some really cool ideas, and it kind of seems to start with the concept of what if we made a game that has to be played by exactly two people? It can't be played by any more than two people. It can't be played by any less than two people. This is not a single player game, and this is also not your typical online multiplayer game where you can go and squad up with randoms and things like that. This really was designed and created for the one-on-one couch co-op experience or potentially online multiplayer experience. But even if you play it online, I feel like it's really meant to be played with somebody that is your friend, somebody that you're on some kind of voice chat with and all of that stuff, because it really comes across like the game really was designed with that in mind as kind of the core design principle behind it. And everything else in the game was built on top of that assumption. So something that's kind of interesting with game development and game design in general is that sometimes you can make certain assumptions about the player and the situation that the player is going to be playing the game in, it is in, and then based on that, you can make certain decisions for the gameplay. But because most games are in a scenario where, oh, you can play this alone, or you can play this co-op, or you can play this on this way, or whatever.
Like drop in and drop out, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Then you can't fully commit to any one way that the game is played, and you have to make sure there are different avenues to support everything or different game modes. So it's kind of cool to see a game honestly kind of have the balls to be like, no, this is how you're going to play the game, and then because they can make that assumption that you're always going to be playing with that person next to you, design the game with that in mind. And that's what makes this game so unique and different, like the way that the cinematic shots are made and the way that the screen is split between the two views of the two characters when you occasionally are doing certain actions and then one view of the screen gets bigger and takes over the other player's screen and so forth. And I also feel like a lot of moments in this game are built to create banter in between the people that are playing it. So there are a lot of, like, all the mini games are added so that you can go and compete with the person next to you and have a little funny moment of trying to beat each other. And then a lot of the other moments where you're having to work together, it's really counting on you communicating with the other person. I feel like there's a lot of moments in this game where I don't know how we could have done if we weren't on voice chat together to be like, yo, do this, I'm there, do that. It's not impossible, but it really seems like we played the game the way it was meant to be played. The only way it would have been better if we were actually physically next to each other, which is not possible right now. But regardless, I thought it was really cool that things worked the way they did. And ultimately, I had such a good time with this game. And so many of the good moments of the game are made better or are born out of playing with a friend and having to deal with, oh, God damn it, you did that wrong, or like having to coordinate together and then feeling like the accomplishment of having coordinated and accomplished something together.
So I wonder, like, how do you do, like, all right, we're gonna bust this door down together. We're gonna go on three, but you have to do it without voice chat on the internet. That would be interesting.
Yeah, I don't even know. You would have to look at both characters and then try to figure out what's going on and how to do it that way, which would be interesting. But no, the game is a lot of fun. I have to say, you can tell that there's a little bit of a low budget aspect to the game that I almost wonder if it doesn't actually make it better. Because it was kind of funny to go through the occasional glitchy moments or the occasional just not very polished moments and janky moments and to make fun of it together. And to almost try to work around the jank of the game every once in a while and some of the problematic mechanics. So I feel like on one side, it's like, man, I wonder what Joseph Fares could do, and this team obviously could do if they were given the budget of a Naughty Dog, if they were given the budget of a Sony Santa Monica or a Bungie or something. And on the other hand, it's like, I wonder if it would almost kind of like ruin the charm a little bit, because it is cool to see. It is cool to make fun of the game in all these different ways too, like the kid playing basketball, like halfway through, and it's all weird, and like the animation is all messed up and stuff.
And the little kid wouldn't even, like, when you try to pass the ball for the kid to make to try to score, he would just pass the ball right back to you instead. A little AI was
Uh-huh.
yeah, that NBA 2K, it is not. But yeah, Juan did say that it would be nice to have a countdown like Portal 2 has. Would have been useful. So I didn't know that.
Hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
But
that
no,
would be
the
a good game for us to play on stream as well. By the way, Portal 2 together, because I didn't really get too deep into the multiplayer aspect of that game.
so Portal 2
But I'm
has
sure that would have been a good time.
co-op.
Yes, yes, it does. It's like a
Interesting.
different mode. It's like you got your typical, like you can play the whole game in single player, and then it has a different mode, which is co-op, but it's not the same. It's not the same game.
Ah,
It's almost like there's two campaigns. There's a regular campaign, and there's the co-op campaign.
so the because the multiplayer campaign is centered around having two people. So
Hmm.
wait, how many people can do
Is my
co-op?
video not showing up, by the way?
Nope, not at all. It hasn't been showing up for a while, and I thought you turned off your camera. So
Okay. So no, I didn't. But I will say that my computer is back working with the internet right now. So I think I'm gonna hang this up and try to get back in there.
okay,
This
okay.
this is a great Twitch experience, guys.
All right, here we go. All right, let's. There we go, hanging up, and he should be calling me back any second now. All right, but yeah, Johan says, better hit me up if you plan to do co-op. Of course, you're welcome. Gonna carry you throughout all of the puzzles. You fucking asshole. uh, Come on, Dan, call me back. Or should I call him? That's a good question. Should I call Dan? I'm assuming that he's. There we go. He's calling me. There we go. There we go. All right, he's buffering. All right, there he is. All right, let me just get him back.
Oh man, what an adventure it's been to do this stream.
All right, Gert. You know what? Fuck you. You're editing this shit. I'm not taking. I'm not. I am not doing this.
That's fine. I was already under the expectation that I was going to edit this one.
Cool. Perfect.
I actually think, you know, the funny thing is that like the people watching on Twitch are getting this crazy like garbage and fire experience, but I actually think I'm going to be able to give the listeners at home later a very polished and nice little podcast cutting out all these weird moments.
Should I mean actually you may want after listening to it you may want to consider just like leaving some of it in there. Especially if I don't know. I don't know. It just depends on how you feel about it because I don't. It's all you, man. I think the Twitch audience they get something. Yeah, the Twitch audience gets something very endearing. I think, but yeah, no. So while you were gone, just Johan hit us up and says that we better hit him up if we plan on doing co-op, and then he'll carry us or he'll carry me throughout all the puzzles. Is what he says.
Sounds good. Fair enough.
Wait, how many players can Portal 2 handle? By the way.
I think it can only handle 2 players. I think it's kind of similar to A Way Out actually, where it was like that campaign was built to be played by 2 players, and the puzzles are designed so that it's like one player needs to do something on one side, and the other player will do something on the other side, and that's how it works out.
So a 3D snippet clips, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Which is another interesting one to do this kind of thing with as well. Going back to A Way Out, though, so would you ultimately recommend the game?
Oh.
Would you say that this is a game that everybody should play?
Oh, 1,000%, man! This is such a good, fun game. I think that this game is like playing a movie, and we say that a lot by like a lot of games, but like this one specifically has a lot of like cinematic like camera work, and it's a lot of cinematography and some I would say some B movie level acting, but I think that's more like on purpose. That's more of a deliberate choice made by the director and like the script and stuff. The game is very much like it's set in the past. I don't know if it's set in the 70s. I think it's set in the 70s, and it's kind of very much like a 70s 80s kind of mishmash of like of tropey movies, B movies and stuff. Like there's a lot of nods. Like I even called out during the actual stream itself. I called out Scarface. So if you're into like these buddy cop movies, these dynamic like Lethal Weapon type scenarios and stuff, I think that this is one of those games that you would definitely enjoy through and through. I know I did, and it's just like 1,000% a recommendation for me as far as like you definitely should play it. It's short. I mean, like we did it in what, 6 hours. It's perfect. It's like that sweet spot.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of good things about it. I mean, there we talk so much about the games that overstay their welcome, and this is a game that definitely didn't do that. When I first started, I thought it was going to be shorter than it actually ended up being, but still, we beat it in 3 streams, and 3 streams of 2 or so hours. So this is a game that theoretically two friends like could hang out together and play in one sitting at like a Saturday night or something, you know what I mean? Or maybe in 2 different sessions, and they would have had a great time with it. So I really like that about it. And we keep comparing it to a movie, which I think is fair. And this game especially plays a lot on movie tropes. But I also want to use that as an opportunity to give a shout out to Joseph Fares' game, especially, and something that I know that he tries to do is there's a lot of games out there that are very gamey and are very all about the gameplay, right? For instance, pretty much any 2D Super Mario game is all about the gameplay. It's not about the story. It's not about cinematics or anything like that. And then you got games like something like The Last of Us, or even something like The Walking Dead, the game, or something where it's really more about the narrative and the story, and the gameplay is almost just kind of the mechanics in which you get to experience the story, but it's really kind of like watching a movie.
Yeah.
And there are some people out there, some designers and directors that are really big in the idea of really meshing the two. And something that they'll say is that the way that games can be made better and evolve past movies is when they don't get held back by the typical movie storytelling, and they instead use the mechanics to tell the story in a way that only games can do. And I feel like this game is able to do that because I feel like there's so many moments that we had while playing this game together that would not have been as good if we were just watching it, right? And I know the people
The boat
that are
ride.
watching us right now,
The boat ride
yeah,
comes to
yeah,
mind.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like go left,
Um,
bitch. No, no, you like the other left.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like this is a great example of a game that a lot of like the mechanics and the cinematic and the movie aspect of it and the story work together to give you this ultimate experience that is the blend of both. And it's with its jankiness and it's with its issues and its flaws, but it ultimately is a very fun, enjoyable, and I would say memorable experience.
Side note,
So definitely
yeah,
a recommend.
yeah. Side note, just because like it may not be like next gen as far as visuals go, but even in my memories, I still remember. I still upres it in my head. By the way, even right now. So just watching it doesn't give it justice. I think the memories of it is gonna ring true more often than not. I would say.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Liz, are you ready to go on full spoilers?
Yeah, spoilers. This is where I got a clip ready to go. That's one of my we played this game and I deliberately went out of my way to make a Twitch clip on our Twitch account, so that way it never gets deleted. If when you make a highlight, it never deletes, so it's gonna be there forever.
Hmm. All right, I want to see it.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have it. We'll have it when the time comes. Yeah, I don't want to just like shoehorn and go straight into it. I have it all.
Oh,
I have
I
it.
see. I
I
see.
have it prepped. I have it prepped. Yeah. So
Okay. Okay. All right. Sounds good. So where do we even start talking about this game? I guess we got to start
the
with the from the
beginning.
beginning,
Yeah.
with the introduction of these two characters, Leo and Vincent. I played as Leo. You played as Vincent. And the beginning of the game starts with both of these characters in jail. I believe Vincent coming into jail for the first time, and their experience getting to know each other, and then using each other's help to escape prison together. What did you think about the beginning of the game and kind of the whole prison escape sequence?
I was actually surprised by the whole situation because I honestly thought that they were gonna do the tropey thing where actually it's probably more tropey that they don't become friends right off the bat because in my head
That's
I
true.
was thinking they were gonna just be friends from the get go and then they're just gonna just hit the ground running. I honestly thought that like just based on the marketing and stuff and like the whole prison break scenario, I was thinking that they were already going to be in prison for a while, that they've already known each other, they've been planning it from the long time. But no, they're just going to straight up like do this really fast and really easy, and it almost kind of like reminds me of like a funny ass thing that people do on Pitch Meeting. It's a YouTube channel on Screen Rant where like the script writer says, "Oh, getting out of prison, that must be really tough," and then the writer is gonna be like, "Actually, it's gonna be super easy, barely an inconvenience." so so
Oh yeah, I remember that. I
yeah.
remember that.
So
I've seen a few of those YouTube videos. They're pretty funny. Yeah, I was kind of shocked about that too. I thought the game was about the prison break. So
yeah,
coming in,
yeah.
I thought the ending of the game was going to be the prison break. I thought that's kind of what we're going to work towards the whole game, but it's merely act one of the story, if even that. It's really chapter one of a 5 chapter story. So there's quite a bit more after it. But it's still a fun part of the game anyway, and this is really where you get introduced to the two characters and their backstory and the fact that they're both kind of brought together by their hate of this other character that seems to have screwed them over. I forgot his name right now.
Oh, let me look that up for
Um,
you.
oh yeah,
Haha.
no
You
problem.
normally you do this, but it's fine.
And you really get to start experiencing the differences between the two characters too. So Vincent usually has his more lawful way of going about things, and he's more about doing things right and trying to not hurt anybody in the process and being sneaky and stealthy and all of that. And Leo is a little bit more chaotic. He's a little bit more about just ramming through whatever's on the way to get to his goals. And it was interesting to see how the different characters played.
His name was Harvey, by the way.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
Yes, Harvey.
yeah, yeah. I actually was kind of. It's kind of interesting because like I was more my whole like pragmatism about how I like my whole personality and stuff, and you get like you're whenever you select your players at the beginning of the game, it's like you play like this prologue, not prologue, this kind of sequence where you're in the future and you're trying to get caught up to the story where you're on the plane, and then when you're on the plane, you're starting the game, you actually get like little personality profiles of each character and how they are. And I was like, oh, I kind of want to play as Vincent because this Leo guy is just too fucking crazy for me to play as. So I was like, Dan, be the crazy guy. But yeah, like I just it's kind of interesting because I think Leo might just because he's like this like kind of like the Heath Ledger Joker. He's just kind of crazy. He just kind of just does things, and he's like we're
Hmm.
or, it's like he's like his personality is kind of like he's kind of like a hammer, and he sees everything as a nail that he's just gonna have to like just hit
Hmm.
and I don't know, just he wants to brute force his way out of everything. He wants to punch people out and be like, all right, that takes care of that problem. Whereas Vincent, he's like, let me just talk to them and let me just talk this guy down. Let me convince him. And it's an interesting mechanic because we're just the game makes us decide are we going to do things Leo's way or Vincent's way, and we always decided. But like I wonder like how the game actually decides if we both don't agree with each other. We both toggle. We've never
Mm.
actually tried to toggle one way or the other. So that's
I
interesting.
Was there ever a timer though on those selections? Because I was kind of under the impression that it only proceeded once we agreed on one
I
choice
believe,
or
yeah,
another.
yeah. I think there was no timer, not that I remember, and I think we always had to agree, and we didn't ever pause the game and stuff. So, I actually kind of want to know if like because you have to like press square, I believe, to like lock in your choice, if I'm not mistaken. So, what if we
Mm.
both like press squared on opposite choices where we both try to do it our own way? So that's interesting. I
Hmm.
never thought of that.
It's kind of yeah. That's a cool point nonetheless because I think it's interesting to think about how we played through this game and we had an experience playing through this game. And while all the major story beats would probably still have happened in the same way, it does make you wonder how different could the game have been if we had chosen the other choice for any of those moments. And you saw some of that because you had played the game before, and not completely, but you played. Kind of seems like you actually had played through a good like 70% of the game before. Well, I mentioned that I had played a little bit of it, but that really I really found out that that was really just like at most 20 to 30 minutes of it because I didn't even get to get out of prison or anything like that. After they escape prison, then we get to chapter 2, which is called Fugitives.
Wait.
where
Hold on,
we
hold on, hold on. I just
yeah,
wanna,
go ahead.
I wanna just give a shout out to like the prison sequence. Let's take our time with this. We gotta massage
Okay.
this. All right. Shout out to the part where we're calling it like, hey, stop, 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 stop. Like like we gotta like we're trying to get the wrench going and everything like that. And you're like, hey, he's coming, he's coming, he's coming. It's like, and then you gotta do that thing where you're like, you gotta talk to him and like try to distract the guards or whatever. But then it would be so janky and it wouldn't even work all the way. I just like that whole that sequence where we're like trying to hurry up and quickly unscrew
Hmm.
this thing, and then I also like the little 30s 1940s whatever Batman issue where you see Batman and Robin like back to back kind of like scaling up the building. Like I've seen that issue before in like an actual real life cartoon comic for whatever. So it's really interesting that they pulled it off in the actual game, and it makes me believe that there's a possibility that that may actually be real, like real life. But not that I would know because I don't have the core body strength to do that. So, but yeah.
It is definitely real according to Emperor Steel Groove. So if that's good enough for you, yeah, and it's cool to see how we actually succeeded in working together pretty well through the majority of the challenges like that in the game. And I was watching through parts of our streams back as in preparation for the spoiler cast. I didn't get to see a lot of it, but I saw a few parts. And well, in the beginning, I was still kind of figuring out the controls and struggling a little bit with some of the first few challenges. After we kind of figured out how to communicate better, I feel like we were able to succeed in a lot of the things moving forward. And even the things that we didn't succeed on, they actually were almost more fun because we didn't. And in the prison sequences, that also when you kind of start figuring out like the different things that you can do, moving around, taking cover, interacting with things in the environment. And the gameplay of this game is very interesting because it's very contextual in the sense that you don't really have a lot of actions that you can do at any point. The actions that you can do are usually you walk up to something and then you got a button to interact with it.
Yeah, pop
And
up.
at times, yeah, at times I personally found that a little bit frustrating because I do kind of wish that there were a few actions that I could use more easily, and like such as crouching or something along those lines. And I felt like, and you experienced that too, especially towards the some of the end parts of the game as well, where there are times where you wanted to do something, but your character actually did something else. You wanted to get a like you wanted to move to the side, but your character accidentally got up or out
Oh
of
yeah, it
the
cost us
hiding place.
a game over on that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So
it's really interesting because they really made good use of that square button.
yeah,
Everything was
yeah, definitely.
square. Everything like going like crouching and being against cover was square. Picking up an item was square. Everything like everything and everything. The only time, wait, did we even when we arm wrestled? Did we actually press square or was it X? I don't know. I think it was square.
Yeah,
But
it
yeah,
was probably yeah, square. Sorry.
yeah.
Most of the time that we're doing something that was button mashy, we were mashing square. And yeah, the same few buttons were used for the majority of things in the game. And I can't help but wish, like, in a kind of like a polished side, if they could have put more time into the game, I almost kind of wish that was spent in the gameplay side for things like that. Like use the controller a little bit more, have some actions, like some set of actions that are a little bit better used, and equip the player to go through all the challenges with consistent
Yeah.
like buttons that they can use for these things. Because otherwise, I felt like at times it was a little hard to there are so many times where I knew what I had to do, but it was hard to be able to do it with the controller because I had to go like I had to be in the right spot to get the prompt to then press square to then and it was a little bit hard to do that at times.
Yeah, I did.
Um,
We did push-ups with square, pull-ups with square. We did arm wrestling. The only thing I don't think we did with square was Connect Four. I think we popped wheelies on the wheelchair
mm.
with square. We did everything. We played darts, square, everything. Yeah.
Shout out to the mini games, by the way. They were so fun, and it was also so cool the moments in which you got to play them because at sometimes it made sense in the story, like okay, they're having a chill moment here, they can go and like do this little mini game. But then there were other times where your suspension of disbelief had to be there because they're being chased by cops in this hospital and they're gonna stop to mess around with a wheelchair. All right.
Yeah. Or our contact is on the plane, got the engine revving, ready to go. He's like, "All right, guys, we're ready to go. Let's go." But like, wait. We got to play this arcade real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty funny from that perspective.
We need a,
I don't have any
oh,
more shout outs to
Juan says they need a special edition with the square button replacement. Yeah.
I
Um,
don't have any more shout outs for chapter one, but chapter two had a lot of cool stuff actually. The farmstead was on chapter two. I believe the boat sequence, yeah, the boat sequence was at the end of chapter two as well. The crossing the bridge was in the beginning of chapter two. So I feel like that's kind of the chapter where the game really picks up. You know, even though that's after you've escaped from prison, you're kind of left wondering, okay, what's going to happen now? Are we in the epilogue, or what is this game even about? And that's really where you start figuring out that this is more of a revenge story than it is a getaway story. And when you go through a lot of these moments together, which are fun, you know, like fishing and having the characters get to know each other, you start seeing a little bit of their backstories a little bit. I believe in the next chapter you get to meet the families of the characters, and obviously the boat sequence, which I think we both agree was one of the best parts of the game. Just having to work together with controlling that boat and making sure that we're coordinating, and then totally at times just out of luck, like successfully working together, and then at times being such at odds with each other where there's this one particular moment where there's a fork in the road, and then I wanted to go left and you wanted to go right, and then we hit right in the middle.
Center, we went
um
straight. Yeah. What's really funny is that that was my second time having played that sequence because I played like 60% of the game with my nephew, as I found out. But the that's literally both times the boat's health was down to like a sliver, and we barely made it to the
mhm.
end without having to restart the sequence. So both times, I know the boat's condition was shitty going into the Uncharted sequence. So yeah,
Something that this game does well too, that I now think about it, is that it seems like there's a lot of moments where that happen where we just barely escaped with a sliver of health. And I wonder if it's one of those things that's intentional. Shooter games are known for doing things like this very often, where your last 1 HP is actually worth like 20 HP or something, so that you always, like, when you're about to die, like you're more likely to have these moments where it's like, oh, I escaped with just 1 HP.
yeah,
I don't think they literally did anything like that with this game, but you can tell that the balance of certain sequences were made so that you just barely escaped. You just barely left the room before the person caught you, or things along those lines, which kind of added to the fun of it as
yeah.
well.
The tension and everything. Yeah. There was something I wanted to say about the whole Uncharted sequence thing, but I can't remember. So let's just move on. Yeah. Oh, after the Uncharted sequence
That's
was
fine.
the farmhouse, right?
The farmhouse, I believe, was before that. But either way, we can talk about the farmhouse. That was also interesting, having to figure out how to approach that situation, and we ended up
Yeah.
locking up those people in their
Yeah, so like
in their room.
the locking up of the people in that little closet, like just shove those old people in there. Okay, that I didn't have to do that my first playthrough, and that was an interesting thing. We had to figure out how to do it because we I think
Really?
we failed like two times in a row. I think when we were like we were trying to like distract them and stuff, and then I got shot or whatever or something like that, and we had to
Mhm.
start over. But like the first time around, like when I played it, it was you had to go to the barn, and what you do is you like basically like let some horses out or cows out or something like that. You let somebody escape or let some animals escape, and then the old man and them go chasing after them, and they run out. And so you don't have to like lock them in the closet.
Hmm.
So um,
Interesting.
the shout out to the Legend of Zelda trophy on that one, though. By the way, just we had to go in. There's like a secret. There's like everything has squares, right? Everything prompts and stuff, but there's like this thing that you can interact with, and there is no square. There is no. You have to know, or you have to figure out that you have to interact. And we both have to like press this thing, and it unlocks this door upstairs, and you can get the treasure chest for. And you get the little like ha da 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 da, like that little Legend of Zelda thing. Um, there was another thing that it actually just, damn, it was a fleeting moment. Take over. There was something that happened before that I wanted to give a shout out to. So you go.
Yeah, no worries. I just wanted to give a sort of a shout out to us getting sort of stuck in that level and having to replay it 3 times because we kept running into technical issues. So at one point, it was, I believe, a connection technical issue where we disconnected. and then we had to go back in, and then we had lost some progress. We had to do some stuff again, and then at some point we had actually gotten the game to a broken state
Yeah,
where we couldn't really progress, and we
yeah.
had to go back to the previous
The
checkpoint and do
glitch,
things all again.
the
Yeah,
glitch.
to go through.
I want to give a shout. I want to shout out to that Dango behind Dan. I've got the couple and baby from the intro.
Oh,
John,
that's cool. That's yeah, it's an anime reference. So Leah actually made that.
shout
And
out
she
to
gave it
your
to me as a gift.
shout out to your Legend of Zelda poster. By the way, I just noticed that that was
Oh, thank
the
you.
20th anniversary one. Nice.
Yes,
Yeah.
I believe that's from Club Nintendo back when that was a thing. I think I got a set of three different posters from Club Nintendo, and that might be the only one that's still with me. I think I have two that are in my family house in Brazil.
Yeah. By the
But
way,
yeah,
I
it's
did I did remember the one sequence that I really wanted to like give a shout out to. So there was like this before we got to the farmhouse. We were at a trailer park and we found like this cheating couple that you needed like tell like the wife where the husband is so you can start shit.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So before we
That was
this
pretty
is all
funny
leading
too.
up to like finding the wife. And what's really funny is the before that there was this part where we both had to like press square at the same time to sit on this like little kitty like seesaw thingy. I don't know what it
Mhm.
was. It was like I think it was one of those like swings and stuff that you just kind of go back and forth. But they both sat down at the same time and they just kind of stare. They're both like really close to each other. I mean, they were face to face with, and they were like kind of like staring at each other very awkwardly. And I think the writing and the acting, especially the acting, was done very well. And it was a swing song. Okay,
Mhm.
yeah. So it was done very well. Where he was like, you know, what are we doing here? It's like, no, you sat down first. Like, no, I say, yeah. That was so hilarious. And yes, Quan agrees. And yeah, that was awesome. It was awesome. Yeah. Shout out to that son.
Yeah, it was a good time. And since you mentioned the cheating husband thing, it's kind of funny to think about how this game had these almost like side quests. Like it's a very linear game for the most part, and then there's a few scenarios where you can choose how to approach it. But it's cool to think that, especially starting in chapter 2 or 3, that he started seeing those opportunities to go off and do something that was optional, and that's where you get a lot of the trophies in the game, is by going out and doing some of these optional things. So it's cool to see that even for a sort of lower budget, smaller game, linear game, that they were still able to put some of those secrets out there, like the Legend of Zelda thing that you mentioned, and some of the other things that you could do. So that was pretty cool too.
So Juan, just to ask you, I think is the swing part the most hilarious part in the entirety of the game? You too, Dan. Huh?
I don't know if I would say that. I feel like there were other parts that were funnier to me, but I can't think of them right now.
Hmm. Yeah. Well,
But
I, I just want to say that really, you know, spoilers for our spoiler cast. I think I won almost. I think I won a majority of the mini games. Like you relented on arm wrestling. I beat you in Connect Four. I tied with you in darts. I think you beat me in horseshoes. I beat you in the arcade, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
you know,
The only time you beat me is
I
when it
think
counted.
I'm going to disagree with you actually, because I think, and we're going to have to go back and do a
Check the tape.
countdown of
Check the
this,
tapes.
because I had the opposite memory of it, where I the way I remember it is like you beat me in like a few things, but I think my number of wins was actually higher, because I think I'm pretty sure I
I think you
won.
beat me on the wheelies, that's for sure. I know for a fact I
I'm
beat you in Connect Four.
I'm pretty sure I beat you on the darts.
We
You
tied.
did it
We tied because we both got a perfect
well.
score. But you got the
Okay,
perfect
well,
score
but
first.
I did it
Yeah.
first. I did it
Okay.
first.
Okay.
If anybody, okay. And we did do the darts twice, by the way. So
Yeah.
that should kind of stew.
And you did beat me. I think you got the perfect score, and I hit 125 to your 150 because I didn't really like.
Mhm.
We were at the part where we were just kind of getting towards the end game. When we, you know, if I really kept at it, I probably would have got that 150 as well. But yeah, that's fine, whatever. But I
I'm,
genuinely think I remember like I won more of the mini games, and you won like at the end where it really that's where it mattered. Like that's
oh,
yeah
I see what you mean.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We would have to look back on it to see. I think it was whatever it was. It was with the mini games. I feel like it was kind of close to like a tie. So like either you like won 5 and I won 4 or something along those lines. But yeah, and at the very end of the game, fuck it. Let's just get on to it. I mean, we're 45 minutes into this anyway. I know that it's like 20 minutes of it is gonna be cut, but I don't see why. And then we can go back and talk about other moments that we liked.
All right.
So ultimately, there's a twist, a major twist in this game. Spoilers, if you're still here and you didn't leave for some reason, you should definitely get out now because this twist really completely changes the game. And for the last chapter of the game, so there we go, going on spoilers right now, you had your chance. For the last chapter of the game, you find out that Vincent, the character that Lewis was playing as, is actually an undercover cop, has been an undercover cop all this time, and it was all a plan to get to Harvey, and they were basically just using Leo to do this. Leo flips out and goes on a rampage, wants to get away and then kill Vincent, and the ending of the game is basically a fight between the two characters. So that's another one of those things where they could have only done by committing to what this game was about, the two people in the couch playing together and then having them fight each other and kill each other. And it's really one of those things where you see those things in movies all the time. No, I don't want to say all the time, but it is kind of a trope in itself too. Like the two characters that are enemies and friends at the same time. Like they're best friends, but they end up being enemies eventually, or they're best friends, but behind the scenes they're actually enemies because they have other identities or whatever. And you see that, and then you get involved with it in some way. But in gaming fashion and in Joseph Ferris fashion, having to go through it yourself was really gut wrenching, and having to use your character that you chose to play in that game to kill the character that your friend was playing as, that you after you've been working together for 5 hours in this game and accomplishing so much together and having fun, was really hard to go through. And it was one of those things where I almost didn't want to do it. I
Yeah.
almost just wanted to quit before getting to the end.
Yeah, there was no happy ending either way because like the ending is there's two endings, either Leo wins or Vincent wins, and in for the player no one wins, I would say. Um,
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like the ending that we got is probably going to be the more canonical ending if there was such a thing as a canonical ending because I definitely felt like even throughout the whole game when we commented on it and stuff, it almost kind of felt like Vincent was playing second fiddle to Leo, in my opinion. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know if you still feel the same way, but it definitely felt more like Leo's story. And when I watched the other ending on YouTube, it felt like it didn't hit emotionally as resonant as the one that we got, the ending that we got, because it felt like they put like it's just looking at like scene to scene, they put more footage and more screen time as far as like how long the ending took, longer with Leo than Vincent's epilogue. So
Yeah, even in the situation of Vincent with his family and then Leo with his family, I feel like, I mean, obviously they would both be equally bad, but I feel like as the player and the things that we get to see, and having seen the two endings, I do think that the ending where Vincent dies is more sad, and it's like emotionally
the
more
letter, the letter. Oh
affecting
God,
more because of the letter and
yeah.
the fact that he was going through issues with his wife and he was having a baby, and this letter was going to be his way of trying to get back
Revenge.
together and get things back to a good place and all of that. And you basically, after being the one, Leo, after being the one that advised him to write the letter to begin with,
Oh, and
is
then
also the one that prevents him from going through with it by killing him. So that was like, that's so like that's,
that's
I
so
don't even know,
gut
that's
wrenching, guy.
heartbreaking. it's
That's
it's terrible. And then on the other side of it, you got Leo's family, who, like, obviously they will miss him and they will be sad, but at the same time, he was a criminal that escaped prison. He was involved with all these dangerous people. I feel like there would have been more of an expectation there that something might happen to him. And at least his child was a little bit older, so at least he got to know his dad and all that stuff. So I feel like while that ending is sad, I feel like it's not as sad. Like what happens to Vincent is really the more tragic thing there,
yeah.
especially since after we find out his story, with getting his brother murdered and all of that, and like trying to be a good cop and all that, and going undercover just to help catch this guy. And I feel like, in my take of the story, Leo is the bad guy. and he is the main character, but he's also the bad guy in my opinion because he I'm not trying to make this black and white, but he was the criminal. He was the criminal in the story. Vincent was a good person. He was somebody that was trying to do good, and he was somebody that was trying to catch this drug lord or whatever who had killed his brother when his brother was undercover. And I feel like the fact that one of them had to die is Leo's fault, because if Leo had just gone back to jail, fulfilled his sentence, whatever, that both of these guys could have lived. And they would have never been friends again, but that's why in my perception of the story, I feel like Leo really is the bad guy, because Leo is the one that
Just
killed
lost his shit.
Vincent.
Yeah, he lost his
Yeah,
shit.
lost his shit and killed Vincent. And you know, I don't
I
know, like he
Yeah,
what was he
I'm pretty
fighting
sure.
for?
I'm pretty sure Vincent would have done what he said. He was gonna say he was gonna try to work with him, get a reduced sentence. Plus, not to mention,
Mhm,
like even in the context of the story, Vincent knows that he's doing time for a crime that he didn't commit. Like, because they pin the
mhm,
murder of the cop on him, but he didn't murder the cop, and Vincent knows it.
mhm,
At best they can get him for like a short sentence of like doing like was some kind of like black market deal with that diamond and stuff, which I guess maybe he wasn't supposed to have that diamond. So I don't know what the full context. I don't remember the full context of it. But basically, like I don't think that he was gonna be going away for that much longer. And I could have seen a situation where Vincent would have tried to be friends with this guy and he could have visited him in jail and or helped him out.
mhm.
I think that there definitely was like from my perspective, Vincent really did like genuinely care for Leo. Like he was. He was trying his best and trying to do right by him in the best way that he could. But but fuck the I can't believe in watching the replay like and stuff like Vincent didn't like put the cuffs or they didn't the guy that took like the commander that gave the gun to Vincent. What they should have done is put the cuffs on Leo first before making the reveal, so that way if he did lose his shit, he couldn't run away. But yeah, but no, that's just kind of like it had to be that way, I guess, because story purposes. But yeah.
Exactly. Everything happened as a vehicle to get us to feel the emotions that we did at the end. And that's really what the goal was. And that's really the situation that they wanted to create with the game. And it's kind of brilliant when you think about it that way. I do want to so there's definitely some more shout outs throughout the game that I want to give. And as I'm looking through it here, I'm kind of remembering them. So one of them is in the situation in Harvey's Island, the whole escape sequence in the motorcycles. I thought that was really
Oh my
cool.
god. The was it like this or whatever where they both like that
Yes.
timing was like next level shit right there. Like I can't believe it. They made it so that both players hit that they hit their thing at their mark at the same time. I don't know how you do that, man. Like that's like I there could have been a situation where I just kind of steered and like kind of veered a little and missed my timing, but no, it worked out. So,
I
yeah.
wonder if it's one of those things where it's like kind of scripted, where somehow it always happens, and I wonder how they did it if that's the case, or if it's one of those things where it's missable, and if you don't, line it up right, you can actually miss it. I don't know whether that's the case or not. Definitely the hospital sequence,
Yeah,
escaping the hospital when the
Juan
cops come in.
Juan
That's
says that too. He said the hospital escape scene was cool, really cool. Done in one take, but we did it in two takes because I fucked up. So, yeah.
that's right. Actually, in that
Oh my
sequence,
god,
wasn't there?
fuck you, man. Leo got the best shit. You had the beat 'em ups. You had the 2D side scroller beat 'em up, and I'd never
Yeah,
fucking had that. Leo consistently got the better shit in the game. I'm telling you right now. He is the main character, I'd say.
yeah. I was about to say that. I was about to be like, I didn't remember it very well, but I was about to be like, wasn't there a part where it turned it into a platformer for a while during that sequence? And it wasn't a platformer; it was a beat 'em up, and it was really fun how they were able to do that. Um, overall, really really fun stuff. Now, judging this game by its like individual components, so if you think about story, if you think about maybe characters, if you think about acting and voice acting, graphics, audio, do you have any particular thoughts that like places where it did things very well, and then maybe areas where it didn't?
I'm just gonna say, like, I don't know if there's any one category where they excelled at. You know, like, is it?
Hmm.
I think it's kind of like Mario, where like we're all around. You know,
Hmm.
um, the acting. I don't think it's not. It's definitely not Naughty Dog class level acting. That's for sure. But it's
Hmm.
definitely not like straight to home video acting either. Like it's somewhere in that in between. Um, the they did a lot of like mechanics and stuff. Like of course the beat 'em up, the darts, the arcade game within the thing, and there's like they did
Hmm.
basketball not really well, but they don't do anything well. They just do everything competently. Like okay, it's like
Hmm.
there's levels. There's things that are like okay slash mediocre. There are things that are pretty good. I was pretty good. Like but nothing like S tier. I would say, and I don't think that's a bad thing either because I mean there is something there is something to be said about how this game is like not a it's not a triple A game. It's a double A game. Um,
Hmm.
I think that I don't know which is better. Like if it's better that we got this game that we got, or if how much better this game would have been have had like a Naughty Dog made it. Like would it have
Hmm.
been? Is a better, more polished, more well done product better than what we got? Is this one of those
Hmm.
situations where I wouldn't want to have it any other way, kind of thing? I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah, that's an interesting way to put it, and it's something that I even brought up in the beginning. It's like I wonder if the jankiness and the unpolished nature of it doesn't even make it better and more fun. And yeah, it's interesting because the story, like when you think about the story, is it's a major component of the game, but it's not that original of a story. It's more of a combination of tropes. It kind of makes me think of Until Dawn in that way, where Until Dawn is an excellent, super fun horror game on the PS4 that has pretty much every horror movie trope you can think of. Like every single horror movie trope, they put them all into just this one game. All types of tropes. When you think they've done it all, there's more coming and different things that they're doing. So and this game kind of did that for heist movies, prison escape movies, buddy cop movies. It was a little bit of all of those put together in a game. So it's not the most original story, but it's this very cool amalgamation and combination of all these different cliches and tropes and movie styles and all of that stuff. As far as characters go, when the game started, I have to say, Lewis, that while we're talking about the differences between the characters, especially in the beginning of the game, I didn't really care that much about how unique they were. I almost felt like they were not unique enough. Like it just kind of came across like two generic dudes in prison to me. It didn't seem like they had that much personality. But then as the game went through and you got to see more of the backstories and more of what they had to offer, then you got to see more personality from them, especially from Leo, not a lot from Vincent. And that actually gets like that makes sense with the ending twist. Like you wouldn't really see a lot of personality from Vincent because he's really faking the whole thing.
Mm.
And a
And
lot
then,
of things make sense.
and it should have been a giveaway whenever we did the whole backstory when we just escaped to prison. We did the flashback where we saw like how did Leo get into prison in the first place, and we as the audience saw it. We saw the scene play out. Whereas whenever we got to
Mhm.
Vincent, he only said it dialogue wise, and we didn't actually do the do flashback kind of thing. Uh,
Mhm.
but yeah, but also we got some really weird bot thing in the chat, by the way. Just separate side note. Somebody just threw out a thing of website. So yeah, I don't
Yeah, I
know.
saw that.
But yeah,
Um,
Ghost Baby did say he needs to check how many genres they did mix in the game because there were a lot.
there were a lot for sure, and the graphics of the game are okay. Like I'd say they're pretty good, but they're not outstanding. Obviously, they're not anything super impressive in that sense. And audio, I think is kind of forgettable. I don't really remember the audio of that game that well. So like you said, gameplay could have definitely improved. I feel like if anything, if they were gonna put more money into anything in this game, I would actually have put it into the gameplay and controls, trying to make that stuff feel a little bit more polished and a little bit less clunky. Because there were a few times where I failed in the game, or we failed in the game, where I didn't feel like we failed for our own fault. I felt like we failed because something just didn't feel right. Um,
I just want to say the one thing, like my biggest gripe, I guess, with this game is I think that the end game, you know, we get guns in the end game. You know, this shady person was like, but that character was like, I don't trust your friend. You know, she was like sniffing out a cop all over him. But that we get the guns and stuff, and we're playing, and then we get to go run around, play around and stuff with the mechanics, and I thought they were okay. But because we have so much like experience, I think gamers in general have so much experience with like Call of Duty and Fortnite for me, that kind of stuff, that we know what gunplay should feel like. We know the feel, and I
mhm,
think that it doesn't quite nail it. And I feel like there were times where like it was characters were like a bullet sponge, like they're like I know I'm hitting them, but they're not taking damage, kind of thing. I feel like there was something wrong in that sense. I didn't
mhm.
really feel like I didn't really say anything during the stream, but there were times where like I just felt like this gunplay needs to be more ironed out, especially because the end game is all about the gunplay. And yeah,
Yeah,
so
definitely. It's almost like the game gets more gamey as you go through it, and towards the end, the final sequence between the two characters, that's where the game feels the most like your traditional third person shooter or something along those lines, taking cover, moving around, trying to get behind your target and trying to hit them that way. And there's a lot of shooting involved and all that stuff. And that's really where I feel like some of the flaws of the game started showing a little bit more and coming to the forefront, because you could start seeing that this is not very polished. So this is where, if I were to put more money into the development of this game anywhere, that's probably where it would have gone, just kind of polishing up some of that stuff.
so let me ask you
um
this, and I'm gonna tell you this right now. During their final sequence when we're fighting each other, did you screen peep screen peep? Yeah.
oh, I'm trying to remember, but I feel like I probably did.
Okay, so I made it a point not to like look at your screen. I was only like making like during the first half of the encounter, I was being
Mhm.
honorable and I was only looking at my screen and I was looking for you through my screen. Um, and I know I could have just like turned my head just or even my eyeballs just like slightly the other way just to
Mhm.
like look at your part, but I didn't want to. Like I felt like I wanted to play this game and like kind of like a samurai, like I'm gonna do this with honor, but I didn't. As I was losing, I started screen peeking, and I was too late. It was too little, too late for me. But yeah,
See, I almost took it as like you were supposed to do that, because I guess I when you think about a traditional shooter, when you play it online, you can't really do that because you don't have access to the other person's screen. And when you play it on the couch, which I don't even think you can do that with most modern shooters anymore, but when you do it that way, I know that back in the day there used to be this thing where you're supposed to only look at your screen, but the way that I was thinking, I guess I was thinking with this game is like, so much of the game is about you following what the other person is doing and vice versa, that I felt like it would be weird not to. Like this whole game up to this point, I've been playing on my screen, but also looking at your side as well to see what you're doing. So now, like, it would be weird not to do that. So I felt like almost like it was the game even almost expected me to do that. I also feel like otherwise we might have just kept missing each other if we're both like, not,
where
you
are
know what I
you?
mean?
Like yeah.
Yeah. So I
uh,
also thought it would be just kind of more interesting and engaging to do that. Really quick, since we talked about screen peeping and looking around, it just kind of made me think about something that I think is interesting about this game, which is the way that it has you multitask in some to some extent, just by the just by having the two characters doing two things at the same time. It usually requires you to be at least more or less paying attention to what the other player is doing at the same time that you're paying attention to what you're doing. And there were a few moments where it was very hard to follow, especially in the beginning. We would go and like have two conversations at the same time, so
oh
the audio
yeah,
is just
yeah.
over each other.
Oh yeah,
um
but they did do the thing where like the person who instigated the audio first, their conversation was dominant, like it was louder than the other person's. So they at least did that.
yeah, definitely, so shout out for doing that. And something that I noticed that you started doing later in the game is that you saw that if I was having a conversation with somebody, you
Yeah.
would not instigate another conversation. You would wait until my conversation's over, which I don't think I did at all.
Yeah, I was being very considerate. Yes.
Mhm.
Um, That
But go ahead.
there was a. Let me just get to my part here. I have my video queued up and everything, and
All right, let's do that.
I wanted to give a shout out to this one sequence where we played. And like I said, I made it a point to just go out there and highlight it on the stream. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch us over, and we're gonna reactception ourselves. So there we go. Let's watch this bad boy. There we go. Oh my god. We gave him a single shot, and then he just drops his gun and squeals away. Or scrolls away, yeah. What's your favorite open area so far?
Don't even think about it. Slide it over. All right.
I feel like the part where we were playing darts.
That's kind of funny to see our video over our video.
I know, right?
Like our cameras.
Our faces. Like I'm gonna zoom in it. I'm gonna zoom out or make it smaller so that way.
Okay.
I want your face is like the best. It was the best. Like our facial expressions were like next level right there. So let's put that here.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to see how like we both reacted completely different to this sequence. There we go.
Just as a heads up too, I'm gonna see a little bit late because I'm watching it on the channel and I have a delay.
Take it easy. You got me.
Why'd you do it?
Leo, take it easy.
Shut up! I trusted you, you piece of shit. Why the hell did you do it?
I wonder how this sequence would have worked if Vincent made the approach because he doesn't know Harvey.
Right?
So
It's all yours. It's in the safe. Over there. You can take it.
Move it.
All right.
I don't know. It feels like this is a little too easy. I'm not. I feel like his confrontation wasn't just giving me that fulfilling vibe. You know, just I wanted more.
Yeah. I know there's more coming just based on how much game we had left.
Oh,
So.
a gun in the safe.
Let him go.
Oh shit.
Put the fucking gun down. Put
Okay.
it down now.
All
I'm
right.
gonna do something here. Oh, you got him?
Yeah.
Nice. How is he not dead yet? There's no way he would be. Damn. Holy shit.
I shot him in the face. Just looking at your face is just utter shock, and I'm just like laughing like a maniac. Nice.
This game really goes over the top at times. And I love it.
More men are coming.
That was a good escape sequence.
I think that my favorite sequence has got to be the hospital so far. There we go. There. That's it. That's the thing. So yeah, what'd you think?
Sorry, I'm a little bit confused with the audio because I was listening to you and me talk on the video while listening to you and me talk on the delay of the Twitch stream a few seconds later, and then also listening to you with Discord. So I hear my voice and yours like 6 times at the same time.
There we
No,
go.
dude, that was hilarious, and dude, that was one of the scenes that I had it kind of in the back of my head that I wanted to give a shout out to, just kind of killing Harvey and that final confrontation. The whole like leading up to it, and then that moment, and then the escape after it. That whole sequence was one of the highlights of the game to me too. And I have to say, it's like we've said it a few times already, but I really maintain my opinions of this game. I feel like at times we're a little bit more negative because we're trying to highlight some of the issues with the game too, which I think is fair enough. I think people should walk into this game, and I mean, hopefully, if you're here, you already played it. But generally, I do think people should probably walk into this game knowing that this is not your Last of Us. This is not your super AAA polished experience, but it's a hell of a good time, and it's the. I feel like I might have said this in the podcast, and it kind of has to do with some of the things that we already said here too. But it really is the jack of all trades. Um, I don't know even know if I would say master of none. It's like master of being a fun co-op experience. You know?
Yeah, I just wanted to just give it a shout out to that. That was the Scarface sequence and stuff, and I just loved our just like polarized reactions. We're completely on opposite ends on this. I was like here, like it's like blah.
Mhm.
Or
I'm
like
just
I'm
like smiling, but then also like,
yeah, you're like like I just got shocked because you were just like your eyes were so wide, and I'm like yes, yes, more, yeah, like kind of thing.
give me more blood. I just I just spat all over myself. Um, Lewis, I don't know. I think we've said what there is to be said. Do you have any more points that you would like to hit? Because otherwise, I think I might be ready to wrap here.
Oh, okay. I just want to give one more shout out here to the
Mhm.
jumping off the airplane sequence and stuff. Then I was reading about it,
Oh yes.
watching a lot of YouTube videos and stuff throughout the whole game. Actually, I didn't even really pay attention to this, but Leo has afraid of heights. He's getting over his
Mhm.
fear of heights with the whole scaling the little wall part. And like there was different like times or whatever like where Vincent is kind of like reassuring him and stuff. And I think that was just that, but like to the extreme, you know.
Mhm.
So, and it was really fun. That was a really cool ass sequence. Just seeing that, like the whole skydiving and the whole environment's being rendered really well. I think that was a really cool sequence, and it just, shout out to the visuals on that one. I was impressed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. There were a few moments in the game where I would say that the visuals worked out pretty well. Actually, there were some of the very fast moving moments of the game where because you were not stopped and just staring at the same environment art constantly, and you were more like moving around, where I thought the game really shined. And not just from a fun gameplay perspective, but also from a technical perspective too, because sometimes running through an environment really fast is where you can see some visual errors and things along those lines in games too. So the fact that this game almost was made better in some of those sequences, like the escape sequence from the island, falling from the plane, escaping on the boat, and all that stuff. Like I feel like some those were some of the coolest moments in the game overall. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I think
shout
I'm
out to a way out.
yeah, I think I'm ready to call it here. If I were to grade it, I would say it's a solid 8. Maybe
Yeah, yeah.
it's definitely a great game, and it's definitely enjoyable, and I would say I would think it's probably going to stand a test of time. I think it's going to be one of those games that you can still play like as comfort food, if you're going to play it with a friend every so often. I think that you can like let the memory of it fade a little bit, and you come back and it's just like,
Hmm.
you're making those cool ass memories again, especially with the mini games. They're gonna be competitive, and it's also like I can even see a situation where you can play the game multiple times, but with another friend. So that way, it's just a better a better experience. It's like that shared experience is what makes it good. And also, Juan wants to give a shout out to the construction site chase. That was really fun, especially at the
Oh
end.
yes,
Especially at the
that.
end, whenever it turns into like SOCOM, with the third person
Mhm.
like little like we're gonna chase him and pinch him and corner him
Yes.
and stuff. Yeah, I think that was so really awesome where we were just like going back and forth. It's like, all right, I'm gonna cut him off. You go to, and then like we're scaling this building apart, and like again, Leo's getting over his fear of heights because we're at the top of a crane and everything. So, yeah,
Mhm.
it's really good. Thanks Juan. Thanks for remembering that for us.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you to everybody that showed up, both watching now the spoiler cast live, the first time that we did something like this live. Let us know if you think that we should do more things like this. Maybe we can record future podcasts in this format. I'll say it was a little weird. I'm still kind of learning to experience it. I'm used, Lewis. I'm used to not having to look at your face when we're recording this. So it's Lewis and I usually just go on audio, and then we're just kind of looking through the doc. And I feel like I'm able to be a little bit more chill and just kind of lay back in the chair and just kind of talk and not have to be as conscious of the video and you and the Twitch and all that stuff. So
Yeah, that's why I talk with
it
my
it
hands a
does kind
lot.
of
Yeah,
change.
yeah, I talk with my
Yeah,
hands a
it
lot.
does kind of change the it changes the experience a little bit. But if you guys liked it, we can definitely do this more often, maybe for future spoiler casts at the very least, or something along those lines.
I believe we've
But yeah,
already.
thank you for watching the streams of Way
I believe we've
Out. Mm.
already like told ourselves that we're gonna do like episode 50 live of Ready Press Play on Twitch, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that, like or like special like milestone
Yes.
one. So
Yes. Yeah, something I was thinking about, Louis, actually, is we say episode 50 because it's kind of like a cool round number, but episode 52 would be 1 year of doing the podcast. So I'm wondering if maybe I feel like we can choose either we do something special for episode 50 or we do something special for the 1 year or 1 year anniversary.
well,
I also think that would be.
also
Mhm.
episode 50 is gonna be hitting like during Christmas time, so I think it's probably not. It's probably gonna be one of those situations where we're gonna need to pre-record it anyways. But
Yes,
also,
yes.
but look, we got ourselves an overlay. It works for anything. We don't. It doesn't say any
Yeah,
game on there. We can literally overlay it when we're doing a talk show. So it's really
yeah,
things.
definitely.
Yeah, really good. But yeah.
Well, it is time to end. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Ready Press Play. Remember, you can reach the podcast at readypressplay@gmail.com or simply at Ready Press Play on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at the Dan Lima and Lewis.
At Chakalaka88.
That's right. Don't forget to subscribe, give us a review, tell your friends about the show, and all that good stuff.
All right.
And
Peace out.
that's it for recording on Audacity.
All right. All right. Let me stop recording on Audacity here. There we go. There. Yeah. So we're still live. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's. Well, should we talk a little bit? Juan says, "Thank you guys. It was a great
Yeah.
episode. It was a great episode for being a garbage truck on fire. I'd say, especially at the beginning. I'm glad your internet and your computer pulled through. By the way, just saying.
Yeah, me too. Thank you for sticking with me through all of that. I'm glad we did the Audacity thing so that we can actually have good audio for the podcast. And I'll deal with the editing. It's not going to be that hard. There's like 2 major moments where we're going to cut like big, or I'm going to cut big chunks, and then the rest should be more or less fine. So yeah, just upload that for me whenever you have it, Lewis, and I will get this ready. I actually probably won't be posting this week.
Oh, I thought we were gonna
Just,
post it for Monday or whatever because it would be like the third Sunday of the month kind of thing.
there we
Uh,
go. So that's actually probably when I'll post it. Sometime either Monday, Tuesday next week is probably when it's gonna hit
yeah.
podcast feeds. We're obviously doing a regular episode this Thursday night, which should be hitting on Friday. We're gonna be talking about
The
PlayStation
PlayStation,
stuff.
yeah, I'm so
Yeah.
excited for Hercules. The PlayStation. I want the PlayStation prices, and I want the pre-order dates. I want the release dates, and I want them to do one trump card where it's like we held back this first-party game for launch that we didn't tell you about on purpose, so we have a pop. Like that's what I want. And of course, realistically, that doesn't sound very realistic as far as like, I'm expecting Sony to have a AAA first party, game at launch that they didn't tell us about. And it's this so close to launch. I don't know, but that would be cool. Maybe it can hit December. Just say, hey, well, it's not coming out at launch. It's gonna hit December, so that way it's got that like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 / Smash Ultimate release date.
Mhm. There's a lot coming out at the end of this year, actually, still, like with Assassin's Creed and
I saw your tweet. I saw your retweet.
yeah, I'm kind of blanking right now, but like between October and December, there's quite a bit of big game releases. Nothing really big from Nintendo, which for the both of us, it's a little sad, but a lot of like big third party games, especially. So I kind of feel like, yeah. So the tweet that I retweeted was Mario All Stars on September 18th. Which, by the way, I got a great Broke Gamers Guide tip for this week, which is that Walmart is going to be selling Mario All Stars for $50 on release day.
Oh, I'm gonna get that. Yes.
Yeah. So
Nice.
probably gonna go and I'm gonna try to get that at
I
least.
hope they don't sell out. I swear. Like I didn't pre-order that game because I don't pre-order. But I'm gonna definitely scoop it from Walmart now. I was gonna get it on Best Buy, but
Mhm.
the thing is, like, I was convinced that if for some reason that it's sold out physically everywhere and there's no way to get it, I'm just gonna buy it digitally. Fuck it.
Mhm.
That was my original plan, anyways. So, yeah.
Then on October 2nd, we got Crash 4 and Star Wars Squadrons. I'm not that interested in Star Wars Squadrons personally, just because it's not the kind of game that I normally play. But I am actually probably gonna play that game because it's EA, and therefore I'll have means to get it.
Oh, please tell me
So
you get a free digital code of that game for being an employee of EA.
I there are perks. I don't want to detail them just because I don't know if I should, but I do have perks that allow me to get certain things for free. So
Nice.
I need to choose. Let me put it this way: I need to choose what to use it on. But I might use it on that game. And
Oh,
get that.
that's interesting. That's a good
Um,
one.
yeah.
But what's it called? I guess
Um,
I wonder if like that's a good game for us to stream. By the way, like we don't even know. By the way, separate side note, we don't even know what we're streaming next week. And Johan did throw out like we should look into that one game that's all the rage, all the buzz right now. It's something where people are like playing, and there's like a hidden guy that you're not supposed to tell your secret kind of thing. What's that game I'm looking for? Damn it, Johan, if you're still in the chat.
oh, I've heard of this game's name be thrown around, but I actually
Among Us.
haven't
Yeah,
played
that's the
Among Us.
one.
There,
Yeah, that's the one.
yeah.
Yeah, Juan with the save right there. Yeah, that's the game I was thinking of. Johan was like, "Hey, you guys should look into
Okay.
Among Us and stuff," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's. I know that's got like I know that's kind of taken the it's all the rage with the kids these days, kind of like Fall Guys, if I'm not mistaken. So
I haven't actually even seen it. But yeah, it might if it's cheap, if I can get it for cheap, then we might do it. Um, then on October 29th, we got Watch Dogs Legion, which I'll be playing. I actually pre-ordered. November 10th, we got Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I also pre-ordered.
and the
A new
Series
expansion for
X.
Destiny 2. Then on November 13th, we got the new Call of Duty number, which I not going to play at least for a while. Cyberpunk on November 19th,
Damn,
and
that's
Hyrule
hella delayed.
Warriors November 20th. Yeah. So quite I feel like October and November is just people are going to be pretty busy you're right. It would have to be December, but December is when the new Ubisoft game is coming out.
Gods and
Immortals Phoenix
Monsters.
Rising, which yes, which by the way, I put a note on housekeeping for our episode this Friday because we didn't do that game's justice last week because we were just kind of like, oh yeah, they showed this game, and I I said, oh, it's only a cinematic trailer, so I don't care. But there was so much more to it. It just happened that I only saw the cinematic trailer. But I actually, after the podcast, I went in and I watched some of the Ubisoft Forward, and I also looked at the coverage for that game. There's a lot of gameplay out there, and that game actually looks dope as shit. I'm not probably going to be getting it right away, but I feel like it's like Louis. I feel like it's a Louis game, Louis. I feel like it's your type of game
I
because
I
it's
wanna
basically.
I
Go
wanna
ahead.
check it out. Like I definitely for especially with the housekeeping, it was like whenever the Ubisoft Forward happened, like and it was like like as soon as the debut happened, all of my YouTubers that I follow just suddenly like posted their impressions of it. Like I've had access to this game and stuff like that and everything. So it's like it was literally like at least five different channels. Like it was IGN and there was a beat 'em ups and like any all the people that I'm subscribed to and they all like Game Explain and I can't even think of them all.
Mhm.
Anyways, but yeah, they all like posted their review impressions like same minute, like just boom, like right there. And I'm like, it was just too much. I kind of like skipped forward it on my timeline because it was just too much at once. Yeah, but
Yeah, fair enough. I looked into it, and the best way I can describe it is we talked earlier in this year about Breath of the Wild, and I remember you're a bigger fan of Breath of the Wild than I am, and you said you thought this game changed games forever, like it changed how you see open world games, and you were like, how can you even make an open world game now in the old way, like where it's not like Breath of the Wild where you can't climb everything. So this game is, and then I think something I said was like, well, it doesn't really seem like it's been 3 years. It doesn't really seem like a lot of other games have implemented that. This game is a Breath of the Wild clone, like straight up. Like there's no denying it. Like the camera view, the world, like you can climb everything. All of it is it's essentially another Breath of the Wild, but with a different skin on top of it. So rather than it being Hyrule and Zelda characters that we've grown to love, it's characters based on the Greek mythology, and it's a world based on the Greek mythology. But that aside, it's basically Breath of the Wild. So I saw some videos of it. It looked really cool. Even I forgot what they're called, but you have those powers in Breath of the Wild where you got like the magnet power and the time stopping and
The
like things like that. I forgot. They have
like it was
they're like
there
the
was it
chic
was
powers.
it was like Cryonis and all this other stuff, Magnesis and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so they even have that basically, where it's like you find these god powers and they're basically the same type of thing. So it looks really cool, and I don't want to fault it for being a Breath of the Wild clone because it's been 3 years. We haven't seen any other one, so it's kind of cool to get to see some studio actually look at Breath of the Wild and use it as a blueprint and an inspiration for their game, as we've seen with other genres in the past. And
Yeah.
so it's cool.
Let me ask you this: I can understand the idea from a marketing perspective and from like a copyright perspective that you might want to call it Immortals: Phoenix Rising, but
Mhm.
do you think Gods and Monsters should have been like they should have kept that title?
It's hard to say because it seems like the general opinion is that Gods and Monsters is a better title, and I feel like that's probably true. It's definitely easier to remember. Like I have such a hard time not thinking Gods and Monsters, but at the same time, Gods and Monsters also sounds like a placeholder title. Like to me, it kind of doesn't sound like a full game title either. It kind of like Schools and Bones too, where it's like it almost sounds like something you would call the game before you figured out what the name is. Let's call it Gods and Monsters for now,
like
right? So it's
Project Octopath Traveler.
exactly. So I feel
uh,
like I feel like this is a symptom of something that we see in games sometimes, where it's like they come up with some placeholder title, and then because
Anthem.
they say it, yeah, because they say it so much, and it takes so long for the game to come out or be officially revealed, people just begin to know it by the placeholder title. So then it's too late to change it. So this is what I think. It's like at this point, it was too late to change it, so they probably shouldn't have. But I don't necessarily think Gods and Monsters is a great title. I think we just heard it for 3 years, so we're
Mm.
like,
Like
that's what it is.
kind of like how people were like not ready and willing to give up on NX. Like it was like, oh, the Nintendo
Mhm.
Switch. It sounds weird. It should just be called an NX. Yeah.
And,
So
and in hindsight, the Switch is a great name, and they own that word too. Like that's the interesting thing when you use a word like that. It's like, oh, you're gonna search like Switch, and you're gonna see other stuff on Google or whatever. But no, like when you think of Switch now, like they 100% have taken over that word, right? They've given the word like another meaning. It's like if I call my console like, oh, like the Nintendo keyboard or something, it's like it's kind of weird at
yeah.
first, but like if the console is successful a year later, people are going to be like, oh, do you like your keyboard? And they're going to be referring to the console. You just assume they're referring to the console.
Yeah.
Um,
I can see
so
that.
yeah,
Yeah. All right. Well,
it's worked
I
out.
could have
It's worked
sworn
out.
I legit thought that Gods and Monsters was the name of a movie as well. I could still be.
It might have been.
Uh, so yeah, apparently I saw something in
Yeah.
like some 1998 movie on IMDb, but I could have sworn there was like some kind of like Egypt-based movie and stuff where there was like with with some like it was like not Gerard Butler, but I think it might have been Gerard Butler, but yeah, like some old movie like the gods. I think it was called Gods of Egypt. That's what I'm trying to think of. I think that was confusing the two, but also Juan loves the Nintendo keyboard, by the way. Yeah.
That they're probably going to come out with something like that eventually.
Well,
Oh,
they almost
Nintendo.
did the vitality sensor. Like the Nintendo vitality sensor was
That's
almost a
true.
thing.
That's true. Yeah, it's crazy that that never came out. We saw that so much. Like I think they showed that so many times. And going back to Gods and Monsters real quick, like it just kind of shows that they shouldn't have announced the game that early. Like now, like why wouldn't it be so cool if now was the first time that we were seeing this game and seeing the title?
and it's
Maybe we had
coming
gotten
out,
a
yeah, and it's coming out in a couple of
yeah,
months,
like
yeah.
yeah, maybe we had gotten a teaser like a few months ago or something, or maybe a teaser without a title last year or whatever. But than just come in and be like, oh, this is the game, this is what it's called, this is what it looks like, here's the blowout, and then in 3 months it's going to be on your console, you can play it. So
Yeah. Also,
yeah.
Hyrule Warriors was actually the original Hyrule Warriors on the Wii U was a placeholder title. They even said it when they first announced it is like title not final, but then it was the actual final title. So they were like Nintendo wasn't
Mhm.
even like sure that they were wanted to call it that as well. So yeah.
I mean, you mentioned Octopath Traveler, like that was supposed to be a working title, and they ended up just dropping the project word from it.
Yeah. All right. Let's call the stream here. I think we're giving away the goods for this week's Pretty Press Play podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
go support us on a Patreon that we don't have yet if you want to hear us talk anymore.
Exactly.
One.
All right. Well, good night, guys. I'm gonna end the stream. Peace out.
All right. See you later. Thanks for watching.